Okay. Well, they've been in there for like at least a half an hour.
I would
So
say I would say it's probably I would say they've been in this cave for quite a bit longer, just because it's much larger than the scale here would suggest. Basically, like it's basically a medium-sized town size.
oh no, I
Uh,
mean specifically in the
oh
cathedral
yeah,
area.
yeah. Walking up and down the stairs has
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
taken more than half an hour by itself
So
if you're going
Chance
at like a
went.
normal pace.
Chance didn't go in there himself, and he's just been kind of standing around in like out of character. So
Sure,
in character wise, he'll have been like exploring like the lesser houses down here just to see if there's anything interesting.
sure. Let's see. My real tool.
You don't necessarily have to cover it, but like Chance will have gone into each of the buildings just to see if there was anything of note.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like, is there anything around?
So this house that you're beside right now, to the southeast with the girl in front, is actually fairly intact and not like embedded into a stone wall. So if you wanted to, you could try to get in. It is the door was locked. If you want to try to get in, you could try to pick that lock or do something else potentially.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not going up into the cathedral for the second or third time, so I can come
Okay,
with, and I can actually pick locks relatively well.
sure.
So Lucas and Chance can
We
go
can
check
go on
that.
our own
Can burgle.
adventure.
Do 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 do.
Is
Split the
it?
party never hurts the
Did we do stealth for
Yep,
this?
stealth is the lock picking stat in
Yeah, it's
D&D.
our larceny equivalent, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Um, so that works. As usual, these locks aren't super secure. This one has like a nicer door on it. You can tell that uh, whoever lived in this house seemed to have, for lack of a better term, like vision. In that the house looks a little bit different from the surroundings and looks, I guess, more uh, deliberately proportioned and designed.
So it's like it's had natural architects looking at it a little more.
Yep, that's what it seems like. And but the lock itself is just like maybe a little bit higher than standard, but you can get through it no problem.
Sure. So is it just like a normal house inside, or is this
Yep.
like?
So inside, the furniture seems pretty normal. This person isn't eclectic or anything. It doesn't seem like. But there is. Let's see. You see that on the things in the room are a bit scattered, as if a storm had blown through, or maybe if you have more experience with this, as if someone has had been rummaging through the things in the house. There
Oh,
were.
so it looks like someone's already been through this
It does, and it's kind of weird because the door
because
is
the door was
locked.
locked.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's what it looks like. It's rather messy. Um, there is a, let's see. It's mostly like papers scattered everywhere, and you can see that there are some. Let's see, what would it be? Well, it's probably common knowledge. You see things that seem like design drawings for various structures that some of which you've seen in the around the town, including the fountain garden in the middle, and the
like blueprints.
yeah. Um, the reason I say drawings is because they're actually called drawings in the industry. That's something I learned recently through my work. But yeah, they're basically blueprints. And you see them kind of a little bit scattered. Um, and on there's a table in the middle in what looks like the living room, and on
Hmm.
there is a book that's lying open.
Okay.
Okay.
Are there other books in the room that
Yep. So
like?
I would say that like there are probably some bookshelves around the sides of the room, and a, a couple of the there have been like a couple of stacks pulled off and just like lying like face like stacked up against each other. beside the bookshelves. Maybe like one of the one of the stacks has fallen over and it's kind of just strewn across the floor.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, Chance will actually like start looking at the. I don't expect you to have this because I know this is not going to be relevant, but like, Chance will start looking at like the spines of the books to see if there's anything that pops out as interesting or like notates like where the village would eventually if it would have originally come from.
Maybe if
Okay.
there's a theme, like there's a lot of like X type of book,
Yep.
I guess.
Funnily enough, I actually have an idea for what that is. There are. It's kind of a mix. There are a bunch of like architectural design books on the shelf, but those seem to be rather untouched. They're just like sitting on the bookshelves themselves. There are some, I guess, things that you would consider to be like design inspiration, and those seem to have. There's a couple of them like that have been pulled out of the shelf, and you just see like different, I guess, natural structures from around the world, and also just some other structures and just like things that you feel like would be there to give inspiration. And then the ones that are on the stack on the ground are actually some books about Sinnoh's legends. There doesn't seem to be. Let's see.
Okay, so we can make the relative assumption that wherever this village came from, it was in Sinnoh.
That's correct.
Okay. When it was and where in Sinnoh it was is debatable, but
Is
at least
that what
was
the
in Sinnoh.
is that what the book lying open on the table is? Because that's what Lucas would have gone and had a look at, like the one
Sure.
that's actually on the table.
If you go to the book that's lying on the table, it seems it's a paperback as opposed to most of the other books. It's like a. It looks more like a notebook than like one of the published books that are on the shelf or near the shelf.
Right.
Um, the the pages are very faded though. Maybe because it's been lying open as opposed to being closed. There seems to have been some damage to the pages. You can see that if you people wouldn't usually write their names on their own journals, would they? Let's see.
I mean, he might. They might. The author might have at some points in their journals like, or my name isn't blah 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 blah. You know, or what?
Sure,
You know, some
sure.
sort of slight of. You know, it might be a little contrived, but it might be.
Sure. Okay, so at the front, you just see the faded signature of someone named Gody. That's Godey. And on the page that I was open to, you see some very faded lettering. It's kind of hard to make out what it says. You see a kind of looks like a absent-minded doodle of the towers in the margins, along with like it seems like a couple bars of like musical bars with some notes in it. It's really faded in that part. You can't really tell what the tune is, but you can see like the faded remains of some kind of musical clef and a time signature. And then on the page itself, where most of the notes would be, you see. You can only make out a couple words, so I'll type those. 1 second. Whoops.
Flipping back through some of the previous pages, does anything help illuminate what's going on?
in the previous pages, it actually seems a lot more structured. So there's no like absent-minded doodling in the margins for the most part. This person seems like he's. If you flip through some of the earlier pages, he seems to be a lot more organized than that page and the state of the house would suggest. It's mostly just observations and I guess brainstorming notes of of how some things have worked out. You see that he did in fact design the garden, and he was just making notes on potential like issues, learnings, what things went well, kind of thing. And also just he seems to have designed a lot of the houses in the city, in the town, actually.
Okay, and then here's the $1,000,000 question.
Okay.
The journal obviously is probably going to have dates.
Okay.
And beyond dates, like, is there any way to intuit where in the world it is with reading the journal entries?
You know, you can. Let's see. What would he say here? Okay, so I'll say you can find some pieces of information. So there are a lot of references to Sinnoh architecture, and with the books about the legends, you can guess that it's from Sinnoh at least. He does mention importing materials from Orberg as well. So that would suggest that they're in this region at least. It seems like you find a mention about traffic from Jubilife. So if you weren't, you could probably guess that it's actually somewhere near it, or near where it is now. And the dates, I think I said this before, as like an out of character estimate. Things look like they're pretty modern, within like the last, within the last like couple decades. If you see the dates here, the year is approximately 15 years from before the current date.
Okay, so they're roughly 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, once we compile all this information, Chance will turn to Lucas and he's like, "So what are you thinking? Like, clearly, I mean, you know, there's not a city here, right? Like, anytime in the last like 20 years. So
What, in the ruins?
Yeah, or nearby. Anything like there wasn't an entire city that disappeared. So what are you thinking, like parallel realities or something?
I mean, it's a bit beyond me. Like, parallel reality? What, you think that this has come across from another world where there's still Jubilife at Orberg, and it just so happens that where our ruins are, there's a city in that world? I mean, I guess.
Well, I mean,
maybe.
what we now consider to be ruins, like
But these ruins have been here for donkeys, mate.
have they? They just discovered them. They could.
No. They found this here. The ruins have been here a while.
Right, but
At least out of character, that's correct, right?
Yeah.
The ruins have always been here. They only just found this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this could necessarily have not necessarily been here for a long time.
Oh no! This place may well not have been, but like the actual ruins themselves, like this has been ruins for, well, since before my grandparents. Like, and this is, and no, we haven't had any like Mary Celeste of towns. We haven't had anything where like the whole place has disappeared. So like, but the thing is, right? Like, if it's messing about with time and it disappeared from time, then we wouldn't know that it disappeared because it was never there in the first place. I don't know, man. Like, fucking with time is a bit hard to keep track of. No? So, like, how would we know? Is the question. Either way, I mean, whoever this is, Godey, has been looking at the local legends, like like local myths, and the only
Right.
two that I know of around here, well, you know, Dialga and Palkia, and they do space and time, so that would make sense.
Right, and I'm just wondering because his two interests seem to be architecture, which he's put to good use, and legendaries and Sinnoh, which, yeah, it's interesting because it's not really time, because I mean it didn't really change much in time, and it's not really space because we've just determined that they're Sinnoh, so like they didn't move very far, and it seems like they're actually relatively similar area to where we are currently. So, and we
Yeah,
don't
except
really.
there's no space for this place. Like where, if you look at a map, where would it have been?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, if it was not necessarily,
If I like, by the way, if Lucas like takes out like a map,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
can we go to the map screen?
Sure.
Sorry, just
No
so I
worries.
can look. There we go. Oh god, that's going to take a while to define. There we go. So Locust like takes out a map, and it's like if you look at this place, it says that you get traffic from Jubilife, and they imported stuff from Orberg, and like it's from 15-ish years ago, but like there's no like where would it even be? It's
right.
you
But
know
so like, think about this. In our, I'm talking way outside of my purview right now. I don't know shit about this stuff that I'm talking about. But like, let's say in our reality, there was nothing in uh, this Alamos ruins. Like, we've never developed it. But what if in a different reality, they turned this into a city, and then this city that they turned into got yeeted over into our world and half embedded in rock? Um,
I maybe so it
I
got
mean,
shunted like it got shunted 15 years in the future and one world over.
right, right. That's what I'm thinking currently, because it does the space and time aspect are making less sense because time-wise it's barely moved, and I mean in the grand scale of things, 15 years is not that long, and then space it
I don't know
doesn't
about you,
appear to
but
have moved very
I
far.
can't lob an apple 15 years in the future. So
Sure, sure, sure. But we're
15
talking
years
about
ain't
like,
nothing. And like, I mean, if it's moved from one world to the other, that's a pretty fucking long way to go. Unless, of course, it isn't. I've no idea, mate. Like, it's a bit above my intellectual pay grade.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So, yeah. So, Chad, if we have any, like,
I got any
Oh,
theories,
I
chat?
forgot we had a way to interact with chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
if we have any historians or anything, and y'all want to start getting to work on this, and Chance is like showing off like the different pieces of information
Of
that they've.
evidence.
Yeah.
For what it's worth,
And by the
Lucas
way,
will.
he's like compiling some of the choicier books and everything like that to add to his pile of things that he's carrying around.
Like, if Lucas is like reading the chat and sees that, it'd be like, yeah, but it would all be covered in feckin' dust and decayed and messed up. Everything looks
Well, and that's
pretty.
another thing. That's another thing that I was going to say. In here, in this particular building, things are pretty decent. Like, other than the book
Yeah,
being somewhat faded. But like when I went to the Pokemon Center, it was like things had been not touched for several hundred years. Like, so what's the deal there? Like, I mean, granted, we haven't seen any like organic stuff like we came across in the Pokemon Center where the potions have been like desiccated, but
it
like
like
there's nothing
Lucas. Sorry,
like
Karen.
look at, oh, yeah, no. So like Chance will walk over to like the refrigerator or something like that to see if there's food in the refrigerator and see if it looks like. Granted, there's not going to be that much of an aesthetic difference, I don't think, between like a banana or something like that that's a couple years old versus a couple hundred years old. But like just to try to get an idea.
I
Okay.
mean, the thing that you want to find is tin produce because if
Yeah,
it's still in date, then it's not that old.
So I just have one question. Are you sure you want to do that?
Open the fridge.
Yes.
I like if he does walk over to the fridge, Lucas will probably sort of look up from picking up the book and be like, no, whoa, hang on, that's gonna feckin' reek if there's anything in there. Look
Hey,
in the cupboards, see if you can find like something
okay.
tinned.
Well, if you caught him fast enough, like, I guess then he'll stop. But Chance would have not put two and two together and was like, literally about to open the fridge.
Yeah, he'll sort of say, no, look in the cupboards. Please do not open that.
Okay, so yeah, with that recommendation, Chance will walk away from the fridge and then go look in the
Yeah,
cupboard.
because the question is whether the tinned produce is still in date. Because typically tinned stuff, as much as people think it has a date that's like 30 years in the future, it's actually like
3 or 4 years
2.
tops.
Yeah.
Sure.
Botulism, yo.
So you look in the cupboards. Luckily or unluckily, there doesn't seem to be much in there. You can make me an intuition check.
Also, I'll pick up the book that was open on the table, the one with all the notes and stuff, the journal,
Okay.
and just like chuck it in my backpack and be like, I'm taking that. Fuck this.
Sure. So let's see. I would say that in looking around, you can tell that there isn't a lot of food just sitting around here. You can hazard a guess that he just didn't. Maybe he made frequent trips to the grocery store. Maybe he ate out a lot. Hard to tell exactly what, but he doesn't seem to have a lot of food stored here, at least.
Okay.
Sure.
So even without being able to look at like organic things as reference, just like looking at the things that are in the room, whether it's coat racks or whatever, like furniture, does it look like things have been sitting here dormant for, 100 years or whatever? Or does it look like things have been, like the dust that's in the room?
Right. So to clarify, the time period that the journal entries are from is from 15 years ago.
Right.
The state of the room itself and just the town in general, the ruins in general, seem like they've been around for much longer based on what you've seen.
Okay. So, because I was under the impression that, like, from the Pokemon Center that I busted into earlier, like,
Yeah.
things seem like they've been sitting for a long time.
Yep, that's the gist of things.
Okay, because yeah, I mean, it felt like in the Pokemon Center that if I touched things the wrong way, they would literally fall apart to dust.
Yeah,
Whereas
that's
this
basically.
building doesn't, like, this particular room doesn't, like when we were handling the books and everything like that, they didn't seem like they were.
Well, yeah.
that
Well, the
old.
journal's clearly capable of me picking it up without it falling apart.
I'll say that
So-
it's very like if you've ever handled any like ancient books, it feels like it's very fragile, but like you can pick it up, it won't like disintegrate in your hands if that's what you mean.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's
As long as
not
you're-
like you
as long as you're
expose it to
careful-
sunlight and it crumbles.
Yeah, as long as you're careful with like turning the pages and stuff, like not forcefully trying to rip off the pages, you can flip through it carefully.
The other thing
I was
that
looking for like I'm sorry, I totally interrupted there, but what I was saying is I was looking for like disconnects between the time periods relative within the same area.
They
whole
seem
area
to be so.
same.
If that's the question, they seem to be relatively the same.
Okay, cool.
the other thing that Lucas will ask Chance about is, do you have any idea? Like, can you play fill in the blanks here? Pointing at like the notes with like destroy, theory. It looks like destroy to me. Theory, calm, enough. Any ideas?
This would be like Dark Souls level fill in the blanks because it's mostly blanks as opposed to words.
Well, is there a large distance between these words?
Those ones in particular, it looks like maybe a paragraph or so.
Between each one?
No, like they're part of the same paragraph.
Sure.
The rest of the page is kind of is too faded to read.
Sure. Well, maybe not then. I don't like the word destroy though.
It sounds like I'm just from my throwing this together as a conjecture. It sounds like the architect either himself or was informed of some sort of potential threat to wherever they were settling, and then they decided that it was safe enough to actually settle there anyway. and then perhaps they were incorrect. That's just the first thing that comes to mind.
No idea, personally.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have enough information currently, but
No. I think we should take a look at the other buildings, and then once we're done with that, we may as well like hoof it, because I don't think we're gonna get much else.
well, there's still the area at the back of the ruins that we haven't looked at behind the cathedral.
Can we get behind the cathedral?
Yep. So it looks like there's a large like kind of plaza that the towers are part of.
Oh, sure, sure. I mean,
there's-
what Lucas was essentially saying was look at the rest of it and then
Sure,
head
sure.
off.
Just one last thing before you go. It seems like Cobalt is staring into a corner again, like in the previous house.
I swear to God, how did we talk to it last? How did we talk to Cobalt last time? We did figure it out. It was another Pokemon, right?
Miles uses unknowns to
yeah.
filter through.
Yeah, the unknowns talk to Cobalt, and then I talk to the unknowns with telepathy.
I'm gonna wander over to the corner that he's looking at and just like, is there anything there?
Make me a. What would this be part of?
Perception
Make
check.
Make me a focus check.
Oh crap!
Can I help with that?
Yeah, I mean, you can certainly have a look because Lucas
You
is going to be like, well, it might
separate.
be nothing.
You can do it separately from him.
I'll just hold his eyes open, Clockwork Orange style. Focus.
No, I can't really make much of a focus check.
I
But...
have a great focus, and I rolled 4.
Similar to last time, it doesn't seem like there's anything weird about the corner. Cobalt seems kind of fixated on it for the moment, but if you like try to get his attention, he'll like reluctantly peel his eyes away from it, kind of thing. But there's
yeah,
just
but
something...
that's different to what he was like last time. Last time he was just distracted rather than obsessed. Huh.
Question: are Miles and I still throwing a rave at the top of this cathedral this whole time?
Yeah.
If you want to be, but if you want to like come down or do something else, then like feel free to jump in. That's
I mean,
fine.
if I can't see anything, but Cobalt is still interested in it, I will like. I assume we can through like the Pokegear, like ping Miles a message and be like, "Can you come and talk to my Pokemon again?"
Is the music not having an impact on the environment? Sorry.
At the moment, no, other than the reverberations of good vibes. Other than that, doesn't seem like it. This is just like some pretty standard old time music, which I have not put up again. That's a shame.
I can't come down. I'm having a sweet old man rave.
Can you? In which case, you get another message. Can you just send one of the unknown then? But then again, actually, it can't talk to. It can't talk to us.
It can talk to you even less than Cobalt can, because it doesn't have a mouth.
So,
Friend Miles, we should go down together.
Meditate can also take a look at the corner. Has a great focus, but then also still can't communicate. But also, I mean, like when we were talking about these creatures looking at this area, is it the same as what we had over here, where it was like this rift? Is it acting the same way? Is Cobalt acting the same way?
No, Cobalt was scared by the rift, not interested in it.
What was the area that he was fixating on before?
Then he was just fixating like a cat does on random stuff.
I will say two things there. One is that there was something that was visible where the previous rift was in the center of the park. There was like that black blob thing. You get the feeling that the Pokemon were afraid of that instead.
Yeah.
Not the rift itself.
The thing that Chance like stuck his hand in trying to like pick up.
Yeah. And if there was a rift there, but it seemed like the black blob fading away from sight and the rift like kind of shrinking by itself happened at the same time. So it's hard to know exactly what was going on there if Cobalt or the other Pokemon would be staring at that spot. Since it's more likely that you would conflate the two things. So it's possible, basically.
Gotcha.
Well, we're not getting an answer because I'm not built to understand psychic wibble.
Well,
You know-
I mean, it's been here for who knows how many years. We can come back and show Miles on the way out. So let's just go ahead and while they're doing their thing, I mean, because they've only been in there for 20 minutes now or something like that in our time.
Do we not want to look at this house down here, or at least see if we can?
Oh, I guess we can't go check it out. I assume it's completely fused in the rock.
Like, is there anything in there? Like, if we try and open the door, does it work?
That one seems to be fused to the rock. The door
Okay.
can open if you want to pick it, but there's nothing inside because it's all rock.
Chance will make an outer sweep just to see if there's anything else on in the black where we can't see.
It's like an RTS looking exploration mission. You cleared out most of the map of objectives, and you just look
Couldn't
at
we
hidden
just get
secrets.
Lyndon to come look at the haunted corner? Or Miles and I could come down since Miles has a cult education, right?
Yeah, so the reason why I even have Cobalt out and looking is it has a capability that literally nothing else in the party has.
Yeah, it has
No one else
aura.
has Aura Reader, so it can kind of see auras.
Like, cause the last half of the session or so was for the previous session was y'all exploring the cathedral, so I figured like there was a lot of time where Chance and Lucas were just in out of character, just sitting around doing nothing last session. So I figured,
Well,
like,
yeah,
that's something we were doing while y'all were doing that.
It's why I mainly kind of just let Chance do all the talking for a while, because I felt like you kind of just sat around for about an hour at the end of last session.
Yeah, I was. I mean, I figured there was nothing in Chance's skill set that would be particularly well suited to running into the cathedral and looking around, so I didn't.
That's fine. Well, we wander all the way around, see what else is here.
In the water. Does Chance see that?
That's just some elevation changes, it looks like.
No, I mean this right here.
That is
Same
an
thing.
elevation change.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
just
It's
a
like,
small
it's
pivot.
like a sinkhole, yeah.
It's a tiny sinkhole. For
Yeah.
some reason, it looked like a treasure chest. Like I saw it going up rather
The
than
fuck
down.
are you looking at?
Oh, I can sort of.
Kinda, yeah, if I squint.
Like,
Are
it
you
looked-
recording this one again, Tom?
I
or not?
am.
Okay.
Alright.
So what is this? Is this just like paving, or is it like
Yeah, so it looks.
ornate?
So you
or-
saw it a little farther south. South of the towers. It looks
Yeah.
like it's a different sort of paving than the like streets to the far south of the town, but it looks like a kind of a nicely paved plaza. kind of thing.
Sure. And there's nothing much behind here as far as we
Sure.
can tell.
If you get here, you actually see a small distortion in the air, right here, and that attracts Cobalt's attention again.
So like Chance, Lucas will turn to Chance and go, "Okay, even I can see that one. I assume you can see that."
I can. Let me take a look, and he'll get closer.
Yep.
It's obviously filming it, but obviously that's not going to be helping.
Sure. It looks to you like a kind of a heat shimmer. There's nothing explicitly there, but you can see that there's a bit of distortion there. Like if you move, you know how like in some media, if there's like an active camo or something going on, you see
Yeah.
like the light bending kind of thing.
It's a shimmer. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. You see that there's like something there floating in, roughly like maybe a foot in the air, off that area, and you can see like the rocks distorting as you move, as you turn around it.
I understand that Pokemon can't actually talk, but like Lucas will turn to Cobalt and be like, "Is it dangerous?" Because I assume he can like nod or shake his head.
Sure. Cobalt mostly seems curious rather than afraid or anything.
Sure.
It's a mix of curiosity and just like I guess caution. Because
Yeah,
whatever it is,
wariness.
it seems
Sure.
kind of it's abnormal and weird,
Sure.
but not immediately threatening. It seems.
Chance
Okay.
is not particularly wary, and so he's going to come up and try to focus on it. And
Okay.
and if it doesn't immediately yield results, he's gonna just walk up and touch it.
Sure. Make me a focus check there. Okay. You squint and you stare at it for a little bit. After maybe 15 seconds, you see like a flash of yellow and what looks like an ear, kind of just like flopping in front of, like inside of that distorted space.
An ear.
But then it vanishes again. It's like a black and yellow ear, and it was moving a bit, but it vanishes.
What, the whole distortion vanishes?
No, just like after he focused for a bit, he saw it, and then like after a bit of time, it became less obvious again.
So you're saying it's like a foot off the ground?
Yep, roughly.
Okay, so then like Chance will walk right up to the rift itself and then squat down and like look even more strongly into it.
Okay. So it's like a So for lack of a better way of describing it, it's kind of like a censored image. Not like pixelated and blocky, but like distorted. You can see like a small, what you would guess to be like a small yellow and blackish Pokemon there, about like, because you saw its ear popping up about a foot high. It's about that tall, and it's kind of just standing there and looking around a little bit, like its head is turning, or what seems to be its head, but it doesn't look at you.
Is it just that Pokemon? Like, is that the like what I was originally picturing was like it was like a portal almost to a different area, and you're instead seemingly describing it as like a Pokemon that's being distorted, like.
Yeah, no, it looks like a view of a different environment, I guess, if that's what you mean.
So, yeah, I was gonna say, like, around the Pokemon, what do I see? Like, do I see like a grassland or like what?
Here, let's see. That's a good question. It looks like nicely trimmed grass.
Okay.
Like a lawn?
Yeah.
Setting, yeah.
Yeah. Not like wild grasslands.
Okay.
Lucas will sort of turn and look at you and be like, any idea? Kind of just nonplussed.
I assume Chance is able to intuit more than what you've seen as Lucas. So Chance is describing what he's seeing, and
right.
He'll say, "I don't have a clue, but it looks like there's a Pokemon."
I mean, do we poke it?
Yeah, that's what Chance is literally doing right now.
Oh, okay.
He's reaching into that rift and just kind of poking at the Pokemon.
It's a little bit unnerving seeing your whatever you're poking it with distort as you're putting it in there, but it doesn't feel like so your fingers start bending the wrong way, at least visually. You don't feel anything, and it doesn't really seem to do anything to the Pokemon you're looking at doesn't seem to notice. So it seems like anything, it's a visual distortion at the moment.
Okay, but does my finger interact with the Pokemon?
No, not at all.
Okay,
passes right through.
Interesting.
So it's like a one-way mirror, but it's not a portal.
Okay.
Look out for Truck Chan.
It's a thing.
Oh, of course it is.
Does this? Well, no, I'm trying to think of because I'm trying to think this whole area could very well have been in grass, and this might be like a viewfinder into what this place looked like before it got eaten. In which case, it was well manicured grass because it was like a lawn, but obviously since it's in a cavern underground, the lawn's not there anymore.
I mean, Lucas will sort of turn to look at you and be like, well, if you walk around it, does your view change, or are you always seeing the same thing?
And
You
Chance is like, oh, good point. And so we'll walk around and see like if he sees in different directions, or is it say as a static image no matter where he's
Okay.
looking into it.
No, it seems to change as you walk around it.
So it's actually like a looking glass.
So as he walks around to here, I mean, I assume, as you said, that the image is blurry and hard, like and
Sure.
nondescript. But as
Yep.
large as the building is, do I see the cathedral from where I am through the image?
You do. You see a pair of tall structures there, and that seems to match up with what you're seeing in the in the real world right now.
Okay. We'll relay that and to Lucas and say, yeah, so it seems like we're looking at some sort of.
Well,
view
I
for
mean,
lack of a
we're
better
we're
word.
looking at well, whether it's a parallel world or whatever you called it, but we're looking at this place as it is for, or as it was for the people who lived here, I think,
Yep.
Yeah.
rather than what it is for us.
One more thing you notice while you're looking up in that direction is that the making a perception check.
Sure. Is that just
I'll
chance
say
or-
that since Chance is kind of explaining to you what he sees, it's easier for you to see it as well. So you can either of you can make it.
Sure, I'll make a perception check. Hang on. Where are we? Me. Sheet roll.
Okay, so the it kind of looks similar at first glance. The backdrop behind the towers is gray, just like kind of the gray of the cavern. But if you look at it more closely, you see like a flash go across it, like a flash of light. And as you look more closely, it looks like they're clouds instead of stone. Like thunder
What, in
clouds.
the ceiling?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah. It's like
for
open air.
where they are, it's not underground for them, essentially. Which would make sense, because why on earth would they build this all in...
Why would you have an urban, like a lawn, underground?
Yeah, precisely. So it for them, this like set of ruins isn't there, which would make a lot of sense, because you wouldn't build here. You certainly wouldn't build this enormous structure underground.
Did they name the town in the journal and stuff like that? Like, I mean, I assume like that would be a common thing. Like earlier in the parts of the journal where they're discussing like architecture and everything
Sure.
like that.
So I think so. Right now, I would say that the name of the ruins that you saw on the map, Alamos Ruins, is probably an out of character name, because the name of the town was Alamos Town. Like in character, the name that you know of this place is probably not Alamos. I just didn't come up with a different one.
That's
Okay.
fine. So the town, the like alternate reality town is called Alamos, but these ruins are not called the Alamos ruins.
That's correct, as far as you know. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So yeah, Chance will actually Google or Google or whatever the equivalent is of Alamos Town, and see if anything pops up in our reality that's
You would-
relevant. I assume like I'll get like a couple of fiction entries and stuff like that of like people that have used that in.
Unlikely that there's fiction. Let's see. I think the original name, I believe, is like Spanish or Portuguese or something.
Spanish
but
town.
but there's no equivalent in the Pokemon world yet. So I'll say that you get very few results.
Okay, so nothing in our world about what this might be.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, so that's leading more and more to my theory of like it being a parallel universe, like this town just happened to pop up in a parallel universe when it didn't in our world, and then it got yeeted here.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know what that actually means and what we
I don't
do
either.
about it.
Chance is like, I don't either. But it is interesting.
And it's like Lucas will sort of give him the side eye as we're walking along, and it's like, have you got enough content from this place? Like, Jesus.
Yeah, I think this might be
Is
pretty
this
lucrative.
like a new series for you, wandering around the alternate universe, buried dungeon cities?
.com.
It might very well be.
I wouldn't call it that. It's not very catchy, but I'm shit at that sort of thing.
Yeah, Chance and Lucas have been walking around for a while. I figured that's probably about as long as Esme and Miles were tinkering with all of the cathedral equipment. So they probably come down around the same time that Chance and Lucas get finished and walk up to the cathedral.
Unless you guys still have more stuff you want to do up there.
No,
Unless
we've
you
just been
do.
raving.
Ballroom dancing.
Yeah. Ballroom
There's
raving.
a bit of open space there.
That's
I
just
mean-
cute. To come down.
We can, of course, stay here for forever while you two dance at the top of the cathedral, but that's not really conducive to the campaign.
No.
So...
Dance until y'all die of exhaustion.
I think we're probably going to leave it in the capable hands of that old man that we got to help us.
Yes. Let me put him up there for you.
Lucas will wander up to Rita, who's taking her pictures,
Sure.
and he'll be like, about, and however many meters it is, that way, something you might want to have a look at for your story, or whatever it is you're up to.
Okay. When you talk to her, she seems to have, like, she wasn't holding her camera up. It looked like she was craning her ears for something, like trying to listen to something.
Was it the sick beats?
No, actually, the sick beats seem to be distracting her from whatever she's trying to listen to. She looks a little bit frustrated.
Ah, good.
Well, if he notices that, he'll wander up and be like, "You all right?"
And she kind of she stops focusing and looks at you, and she says, "I thought I heard something here."
She looks at you and she says, "I'm whack flows intolerant."
Wow. And he'll be like, "Heard something? Like what?"
Muttering, just around. She gestures like vaguely at the. So she's probably like moved a little bit. She just vaguely gestures to like the air in front of her. Sounds like there's something coming from here, but it's this darned music.
I mean,
Oh, loud.
Lucas will turn to the person who's actually got senses, which is his Pokemon, and be like, "Anything there, buddy?"
Cobalt looks at the area and fixates on it for a second, but then kind of just
Shrugs.
yeah, he looks at it for like a couple seconds, then shrugs.
Well, I mean, if it's not that interesting to him, then Lucas will be like, "Well, there's a bunch of weird, and I mean weird, shit going on. Cobalt's better at sensing it all than I am, but there's one that even I couldn't miss." And he points off, like, northwest to the area with like the distortion. Be like, "I don't know if it will still be there by the time you get there, but if you wander off over that way, you can see like through the looking glass. I don't know how to say it. It's like a portal thing. I don't know what you're taking pictures for, but it's probably more interesting than a building." And then they will also point back down towards like the architect's house and be like, "You see the yellow roof thing over there? It's not actually in the rock. And I mean, you might be able to hear your voices better there." Cobalt certainly seemed interested in something. Anyway, catch you later.
Sure. At that, Rita kind of furrows her brows and says, "If I didn't know any better, I'd say I'd guess you were trying to get me to move." And it sounds like she's joking with you, but she waves as she walks towards the northwest. But I'll go take a look. If it's actually interesting, like you say, then maybe I'll have something else to take pictures of. Thanks for the tip.
No worries. I mean, you don't have to. Anyway, catch you later. Like, he doesn't care if she goes or not. Like,
Sure.
Backer.
hey, maybe she'll actually have something interesting to tell them or tell us at some point if she catches us back in Jubilife.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like she's got better senses for this than Lucas does.
Does Rita appear to have Pokemon?
She doesn't have one out.
I mean, no,
But you can probably see some Pokeballs on her belt, yeah.
Okay.
So, would you two like to come down?
Yes.
Towers. All right.
Would you like,
Yes.
we're like
Would you
trying
like to
ask,
leave your ivory towers?
Just
try children to leave their fucking treehouse so they can come down for dinner.
Just so you know, if you were waiting for me to give you permission to leave, that wouldn't have been necessary. I don't know if that was the case.
No.
Okay. Fair
A scene was going on.
Sure.
I was letting the scene happen.
Sure. But yeah, you can make your way down. You leave the DJing to the Foxy Grandpa at the top, and
The Foxy Grandpa.
he makes some adjustments to the I guess track list as you walk down the stairs. I'm not gonna
The
switch the
hardcore
news
rap
sound.
started blasting.
Oh my god. Maybe. Possibly. Alright, so you are all reunited down here.
Okay.
It's like,
so we'll
well,
fill
yeah.
each other into what we each presumably discovered.
Sure.
And then
Shannon
with all that, what now?
So when you
his, like his hands full of stuff that he's acquired over the course of exploring all of this, so he's planning on dropping off at the end.
You've stolen.
Stolen, appropriated. There's the like. To be fair, I always intended to drop it off at the front, like at where the
That's
receptors were.
what they all say.
Do we need to go back for Lyndon? He's been
I'll
there
say
a long time.
sure. So when things don't move, it's just because I'm paying attention to other things. Lyndon's probably been wandering around separately from you and just kind of checking with Necturna for more ghosts. They don't seem to have found anything. If the lack of Necturna's aggression is any indication, you might pass by him when he's looking, and he'll wave to you, but he seems kind of focused on his work at the moment.
Now that Miles is here, Lucas will turn to him and be like, right, one thing before we go.
Yeah.
I need you to do your translation, or maybe even have a look at something down here, and he'll point towards the like architect's house.
Okay.
Because he's still interested in what Cobalt was interested in, so I'm gonna wander that way.
Okay.
Meow. And yeah, he'll like get into the house, and if Cobalt's still interested in like the area, he'll like point at the corner and be like, "Look, I don't know what's there, but Cobalt certainly seems to think something is."
Okay. So, when the unknown and Miles try to translate, you don't get too much more information from that. But the unknowns seem to be interested in the corner themselves.
So it's something is actually there as opposed to random distraction mode. Sure.
Right. So what Miles gets is a question. Open or close?
Open.
Okay. The unknown send a sensation of affirmation, and they kind of like I guess rotate around it, and they're all just like focusing on that area. And as they do, you hear some rumbling in the distance, like thunder.
I bet that opens something.
So that does not seem to be the case, because what's actually going on here is that let's see. You start to see as they rotate around the distortion, and now it does seem to be a more noticeable distortion, and it's growing. You start to see like a different scene, a slightly different scene superimposed over what you see in the real world.
Oh, jeez.
Let's see.
freaking Rev decides to like overlay another map on top of this one. where
That
it's,
would
like,
be too much work. Let's see.
with like 30% opacity, and it's like a normal village with like manicured lawns and everything like
Oh
that
my
over
God.
the top of the fucking ruins.
Sure. So right now the unknown stopped, and it seems that the overlaid area only extends pretty much to the house itself. But even though Chance has picked up the journal, I don't know if he picked up anything else.
I've got the journal.
Oh, Lucas has the journal.
I have other miscellaneous stuff in the room, but Lucas
Sure.
has the journal himself.
Whatever you picked up has seemed to, at least in the overlaid copy, has returned to its place from before you picked it up. There is again an open book on the table, and whatever Chance picked up is still where it was at the beginning.
Two things that Chance immediately thinks of as soon as all of this happens is, Lucas, look and see what date is on the journal that's currently open to, and notate that in your journal, like where this date, wherever this is, mark it so that we have a reference point. And also, everybody look in the room for the fact that the room's been scattered and searched through and everything like that. Look for anything that's in the difference between what is in this room currently in the Looking Glass version that isn't in the room currently in our world.
The other thing is Rev. If I walk up to the like image of the book on the table, is it open? Does it appear to have been open on the same page?
It does.
What does the fucking scribbles say now that they're not all worn out?
Okay. Let's see.
Another good point. I didn't think about that.
Destroy them all.
That's the first thing that came to my mind. It's like, that shouldn't be worn out anymore. I want to know what that says.
Okay, so what it says is,
Somebody once told me
The world is gonna roll me.
oh my God. So it seems to be an entry from when he just woke up, because it says, I'm going to let's see. I'm going to not give exact words just because then I had to think about how he would write.
Yeah, that's fine.
But the gist of things is, he's writing about a nightmare he had the previous night, and it's kind of like this page seems to be kind of like a dream journal. He's just trying to write down as much as he can remember,
right,
before he forgets it. But it seems like it felt like an ominous premonition of that was unnervingly clear, and had the two of the region's deities fighting over like above the town, and by their description you would recognize them because you're probably familiar with the region's deities because they're major ones. It would be Dalga and Palkia. And he was writing about how in the nightmare he saw, the town was being destroyed by them. And underneath that, he writes,
Destroy them all.
I love the idea that this Girl Scout out here is just like oblivious to everything that's going on.
There's all sorts of weird shit going on in the light of the room. She's just like, yep, this is another Tuesday.
Maybe she too is a ghost from long ago.
Grass whistle.
And while you're investigating the room for discrepancies, you see a. Let's see. You see a box of records, like the ones you found in the other house.
Yeah, the other house that isn't in the rock.
Right. It seems to be conspicuously missing from the real world.
The box of records.
Yes, but you can see the overlaid version of it. There are only a couple of I guess you know how records come in those square packages to prevent them from getting damaged. There's a couple of them like leaned up against the side of the wall, and there's one that's like that. So it's like a square box. There's a couple of them that are like leaned up against each other next to one of the walls of the container, like pretty much almost upright. And then there's one that's like more diagonal, and it's like kind of across the length of the box instead. The ones that are standing up more straight are here, let me just draw it. So it's like this. If this is like a side cross section of it, so there's a couple of records that are standing like this kind of thing. And there's one that's like this. And the ones to the left, like these ones, are what look like blank, like unlabeled packages.
Right.
And then the one here is labeled with just a. Let's see. What's the name of that? 1 second, I forgot the name. Where is it?
Does this song say "Everybody Loves Jonestown"? repeatedly?
Charleston.
Right. Because it's a lot more sinister as Jonestown.
Yeah.
Everybody loves the Jonestown Massacre.
So it does. Let's see. That's what it says. 1 second. That's what the more horizontal record is labeled with.
Is that another evolution?
I think it's spelled a little differently.
Yeah, it's
but because
the
it's
new
just...
revolutionary saltwater type.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's nuclear type.
But because it's just an image, you can't interact with it at all. But you see that it was there at some point.
You're getting this on VOD, right?
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if is my camera able to pick up the imaging?
I would say vaguely. Maybe not as clear as you're seeing it, but it does appear somewhat on camera.
I was going to imagine, at least I'd imagine the image is distorted in some way, because otherwise there's some real funky shit going on.
Along the edges of the distortion, that even though it increased in size, it's still distorted for you guys, but in like the center of it, it seems more clear and stable. On camera, it's the same kind of like distribution, but it's overall more distorted than you're seeing.
Sure. That's very interesting. But
Mm.
Lucas again sort of looks around, is kind of amazed, and then just sort of it looks at it and is like, it's like if a guy who knew how to use tools only knew how to use a hammer, and he's looking at a screwdriver, and he's like, what do I do with this? Like, it's just sort of looking around like, what am I supposed to do?
Hmm. Uh. Hey, you said about, or it was said about looking at what was present in this image and not in the present day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But nothing was ever done for that, really.
No, that was the
That was the records.
Is that just the records?
Yeah. That's I mean that's the only
The
thing.
records and anything that Chance and Lucas moved are
Mm.
the primary things that have changed.
Sure.
I'll say that maybe some of the organization of some of the books on the ground has changed a little bit. Like a pile has been moved, and maybe one of the book piles that was knocked over was not knocked over in that time,
Sure.
and nothing else seems to be missing.
That's the unusual thing though, because like it looked like when we first came in here, when we were looking at what we see currently, is the place was ransacked. Like it was gone through with deliberately looking for something. But the records are something that's like, you know, visibly right there sitting on the ground. As well, that wasn't like they were hidden or anything. So why would you still ransack the room if they're like obvious? So I don't know. I don't know if that like I'm trying not to poke too hard because I don't want to like
Uh-huh. That's
unveil
fine.
a plot hole or whatever. Like I'm not trying to like be a dick, but like I don't understand why somebody would like tear up the room looking for something if they were just sitting on the floor.
It was less that it was torn up, like ransacked. It was mostly just messy. Um, uh, like you didn't see anything broken or like any furniture pushed over or anything like that. And it's not like, so if there are cupboards in the room, for example, it's not like they pulled out the cupboards and just left them on the ground, or I guess the drawers and left them on the ground. It's more just like the room is messy to start,
Gotcha.
and some things have been shifted.
So it's not even necessarily like somebody came in here and looked around for something. It could just be that the guy took increasingly less care of his house.
Or was in a
Yeah,
hurry to get out
that's
of it.
that's all seems possible.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I was just trying to make sure I'm not giving myself a false mental impression. Okay. All right.
Sure.
Is this chimney blocked? Or can we scuttle down it?
You can scuttle down it a couple of feet, but then your feet touch the ground.
Poo.
Ooh.
But it's just tall enough that you can like stand up straight and peer over the edge.
Interesting. Okay, so we've got a whole bunch of puzzle pieces, but not enough to finish the puzzle, and I don't think that there's anything else we can do here presently.
Yeah.
Or maybe one of these old men historians.
I think probably most of them are, of some description.
Some of the people that we encountered when we first were approaching the ruined area seemed like they were kind of sketchy, but there were some people like that were actually running the place, right? Like they're running the organization.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So Chance is getting ready to like say that he's ready to go.
Yeah.
and
Lucas
gonna
is
try to-
kind of like bemused, but also done with the place. He's like, well, I'm not gonna get anything more out of this.
I guess we go then.
Okay.
Right.
We should probably tell Lyndon first that we're leaving. So I'd say we make our way over to Lyndon first, and then we head out.
Yeah.
Dude.
Where is he?
All right. As you're leaving that house, your unknown asks you again if you want to close it when you're leaving, like the rift kind of thing.
Not yet. Let's tell Lyndon about it.
Okay. By the time you find Lyndon, he's up here and speaking with Rita.
Oh, he's up in the top left.
Yeah.
Sure. Oop.
Okay. And they're just. I guess Lyndon is kind of asking Rita if she's seen or heard anything weird, and Rita's telling him about the murmuring she heard in front of the cathedral.
Is the
Yeah, so that's
distortion
good.
gone?
Nope, it's still here.
Can they not see it
And
then? Speaking of something weird.
they can see it. Like, okay, so they're probably standing like this. Lyndon's like looking at it every once in a while, and his Chimeco is kind of like flying around it. But whatever it is, it's likely that they've already talked about it, since it's probably the first thing that came up, being the strangest
Sure.
thing here. And he doesn't seem to be doing anything about it at the moment.
I mean, as he wanders up, Lucas would be like, "You found it then?"
Rita turns to Lucas and says, "Yep,
Oh,
thanks
no.
for the tip. It's really interesting." Oh God,
I keep forgetting that doesn't do
you're all
that.
sideways now.
And now we're all sideways.
You're all sideways now. Oh no. But yeah, Rita says, "Thanks for the tip," and she seems genuine about that. She looks at the distortion again and says, "Can't figure out what to do with it though."
Yeah, your
And
guess is good as mine.
Lyndon shakes his head as well and says, "If you're going to ask, this I haven't seen anything like this before either. So your guess is as good as mine."
Lucas sort of looks at them both and goes, "Do you want to see something really weird?"
I don't know if this is what you're referring to, but Miles, your unknown asks you the question again.
Oh,
Yes,
can you do
open
this
or
one?
closed?
Oh,
Oh.
shit.
Is it currently open or is it currently closed?
It's like there's like a crack open.
Open.
So like it's a matter of degree, basically.
Open.
Okay.
Here, Chance will turn to Miles and then kind of to Lyndon as well. Is there a reason why the unknowns seem to be able to interact with whatever this is?
So out of character, what Lyndon does is not strictly speaking adjacent to unknown. They're both like technically a cult head, but even though like in the game they're under the same umbrella, I wouldn't consider them to be the same thing here. So he would basically answer you that he doesn't really know.
Oh, I mean,
Because
well,
they're not
I'm also kind of asking Miles, and I'm out of character asking you. Like, what is unknown
Sure.
specifically doing that is causing these things to be able to be opened?
So unknown are from the unknown dimension. So they are from a different dimension entirely, canonically. And they have, in some sense, like slight reality, like not slight, reality bending powers. We're not going to go that far with it, at least for the time being. But I'm basically thinking that they have some way of interacting with the openings between dimensions.
Gotcha. So it's like they have some way to manipulate it. Don't ask too many questions, sort of thing.
Listen, it is like
I don't even mean that in a negative way. I mean like
right.
We're not going to focus.
They
on
just can.
Sure.
A wizard did it.
Yeah,
An unknown wizard did
I
it.
think. Yeah, I will say that I think it's somewhat canonical, at least an interpretation of what happened in their own movie. I would say it's canonical.
Yeah, I didn't mean to sound like I was saying that in a negative way.
Yeah, no, I understand. I
Yeah.
understand. But that's basically what's going on. So if you open it, unlike the one in the house, this one's size doesn't seem to increase that much. But the image gets a lot clearer.
Ooh.
And as that happens, the Pokemon that was standing there looks up at you. And you can see
Ooh.
Oh, it's Pichu.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was a Pichu or a Pikachu or something like that.
Yeah.
Yellow and black, I mean, that's kind of iconic.
Yeah. So basically, as the unknown rotate around it, it's like focusing a lens. It's getting clearer, and when they're finished with it, the Pichu, you start hearing sounds emanating from the opening. You hear the sound of thunder, and it's now clear enough that you can see that there's rain happening on the other side. Although it still doesn't interact with the cave. But when the unknown are finished focusing, the Pichu calls out and then jumps through the opening.
Pichu friend.
Tiny Pichu friend.
And
Out of character, I'm thinking, okay, this is a ecological disaster waiting to happen. Of like, you don't let people like carry fruit and animals across borders because they cause problems. Well, I'm pretty sure realities are probably worse than borders.
You all catch mutant alternate reality plague and die. You've just wiped out all of civilization here.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
So
I
it
know.
looks like when it does that and it jumps through the hole, you see that the air kind of distorts as if it was pushing through a membrane. And then it lands on the ground here. It looks around, kind of curiously, but it doesn't seem overly surprised, which is a bit odd.
So the fabric of space-time here must be really thin and weak. Interesting.
So after it jumps out, the rift actually starts to close, or at least fade out drastically.
Rita, get a picture.
That's the part that Chance was like the most excited about. So Chance is, as it's fading, Chance is like getting a panoramic view of the focused version of everything that you can see in every direction around the thing. He's less interested in the Pikachu than he is the scenery around the Pikachu in every direction. You know what I'm trying to say?
Sure.
Like, specifically,
So you
starting with the cathedral. Like he wants to see the cathedral through the lens.
Right. So you get like a panoramic of the town as it was. Some of the directions are blocked by some trees because it seems like you're in another like small park here. But in the direction of like the southeast and the east, you can see pretty clearly the towers, although they are kind of darkened by the by the thunderstorm going on. And you see the rooftops of the town, and it seems that the elevation is a lot. It's not flat elevation. It does seem to be like kind of going downwards as you get far more south in the town, but there aren't like big rocks or like elevation increases that block your sight. You can kind of see downwards as if it was you're at the top of the hill, kind of thing. And as you pan over the towers, you see two silhouettes, very large in front. They're very dimly lit or not lit at all. They're just silhouettes at the moment. But you see them clashing in front of the towers, and that's the last thing you see before the rift seems to close entirely.
No.
Interesting.
So there's another one of them in a house around the way. Rita and... what's his face? Lyndon, thank you. Someone sat... oh, fuck. That was not what I wanted to do.
You've killed Owain and the Pichu.
Yeah, there we are.
And
Owain
Lyndon.
was on top of Lyndon. That's why I couldn't find his label to remember his name.
Sure. Okay, so... Rita will have been kind of right beside Chance when he was panning around, and she would be like panning around her and taking pictures as well at the same time. And Lyndon is kind of just staring down at the Pichu, looking slightly baffled. And he generally, yep, go on.
Is it just me, or is that like an interdimensional Pichu?
It's probably fine.
I don't think it is. I think the veil of reality here might be a little weak.
So the Pichu seems to be very much alive. It's kind of walking around a little bit, not really paying attention to any of you. When it gets to Cobalt, Cobalt reacts to the Pichu just like walking right up to him, if at all.
Well, what would Cobalt do? Well, good question. He's pretty composed. I suppose it depends on whether the Pichu is wibbly wobbly or if it's just
Nope.
a Pichu.
Seems to be a Pichu, like physically present, and it's walking towards Cobalt, but it seems more interested in getting past him than interacting with him at the moment.
Like Lucas will like usher him out the way.
Sure.
And we'll sort of move back and let the Pichu walk up the stairs wherever it's going.
Can I pokey at it?
Yes, you can.
Let's see.
What are you trying to find out?
Just seeing if there's anything else to discover about him.
So you can tell that it's female, and that the ear notches are unusual because that's not a typical what a Pichu typically looks like. Other than that, let's see. It doesn't seem very shy, and so you suspect it's used to people, at least.
I wonder if it has a trainer that it's missing. I guess we should kind of like follow it from a distance, see if maybe it knows where it's going.
That's
sure.
what Chance would suggest.
Lyndon kind of just absentmindedly followed after it as well. He seems to be debating with himself whether or not he should pick it up or try to touch it, because he keeps like kind of reaching out a hand just like a little bit and then pulling back.
No, Lyndon, if I have to resist, so do you.
And over here on the left, Rita looks pretty disappointed that the rift closed, but she does seem excited about the footage she got.
Chance and Rita, Lyndon and Rita are like two different halves of Chance's mind. Like I want to touch everything, despite the fact that it could be super dangerous, and I want to take pictures of things.
I just want to pick it up and offer it treats, but I'm resisting. Well, maybe not the treats part, but...
Pichu are pretty light, right?
Yes.
So
they're so shocking.
It's probably susceptible to telekinesis.
Yes, if you want to try that.
So the unknown would like to pick up the Pichu.
It's gonna be so mad. Can I give it treats first to try and tame its temper?
And the unknown would like to put it in Esme's arms.
No,
okay, so two things here. One is I would consider that a grapple check because it's not willing. So you would have to attempt that. After that, if that succeeds, then we'll see what happens.
I'm fine with that.
Okay,
also,
then make... Yeah?
I'm gonna die.
You're interrupting narrative development.
Not necessarily.
Can this wait until after narrative development, and then...
Not necessarily.
No, please. I want to die. Let it shock me.
I don't think it's going to shock you. I think it's going to infect you with, like, reality AIDS or something.
Reality AIDS?
Reality AIDS.
Okay, well,
it's like Gatorade.
The worst thing that can happen is Esme gets doubled EVs.
Yeah, bugger us.
So a second EV.
Yeah, exactly. So that was an intentional pun as well.
This is my
make me the accuracy check first.
Oh, sorry. What is the accuracy check?
I think it's AC 6.
6? Yeah, I think.
Ah, never mind then.
So one of the Pichu's ears twitches, and it kind of just steps out of the way. at where the unknown was focusing at, and it gives a side-eyed stare at whoever did it, as if to say like, really, and kind of just wanders off around Cobalt.
But the treats.
But it needs Esme hugs.
It is for the moment immune to Esme hugs.
No, can I try to charm it?
Oh my god.
Yep, you can try to make a charm check.
No, it's gonna be so bad.
It ignores you.
Yeah. Lucas, make a charm check. You're the ladies' man.
Luke, you want Lucas to make? Lucas has a charm of 1.
Yeah, but you're the ladies' man.
Is he? What?
I mean, isn't Chance the ladies' man?
I thought Chance was the ladies' man.
Every lady that we've run into so far has been very flirty with Lucas, and he's just kind of been a tsundere and been like, eh. All right.
Kind of true though.
Yeah. See.
Chance is, relatively physically attractive, has maxed out charm for our level, and everybody keeps flirting with Lucas.
Exactly.
Any flirting that may or may not have happened is entirely coincidental.
That's true.
Yeah,
Actually, to be perfectly fair, the flirting that has come back is always been in the minds of the PCs, not in the actual.
Yeah,
test.
I don't think anyone has actually legitimately flirted with Lucas. It's not that sort of RP, folks.
Well, that's my headcanon, so shut up.
No, the only person who vaguely was interested was April, and I think that was more of an almost academic thing than anything else.
Yeah, like commoners. I've never seen these before.
Yeah, precisely.
Filthy peasants.
Yeah, as your continued attempts to charm her fail, the Pichu just kind of at her own leisure wanders off in this direction along the path.
Follow at a distance. Give her space.
And there's a little parade that's basically happening right now. And eventually, I'm just gonna speed it up a little bit. Eventually, she reaches this area, and you see that there was there's kind of a cave at the end of the passage here.
Oh shit! We didn't see that earlier.
I suspected as much.
Oh wait, is this a cave?
Yep, that's a cave. Yeah, with the shadowed opening and everything.
Puddle.
Well, to the cave.
Okay. The Pichu goes into the cave.
We're gonna get jumped by other Pichu and robbed.
Rubbed.
Rubbed.
Alright. Rubbed.
Yes.
So it seems to just be a cave at the moment. But as the Pichu approaches the far end of it, you start to see the air distort near it. And Miles is unknown. Take note of that.
Wait, no. When you say it seems to be just a cave, do you mean it ends?
Like it's a dead end cave. It's kind of just like a circular cavern kind of thing. Not carved circular, just roughly circular, with nothing much in it except some rocks. But the Pichu walks to the end of it, the far side, and the air starts to distort around it.
Okay.
Open.
Okay. So before the Pichu has a chance to stare impatiently at Miles, or his unknown rather, they get into the groove, and this time the space that it affects seems to be the cavern, and you see what looks like another. Let's see, what would this be? The overlaid image grows to the size of the cavern, and the overlay doesn't have a cavern. It's just mostly the sky. You see that there is a large tree, like in the center of the cave, or where the cave is, and you see two familiar figures there. Okay, running out of space to put things.
Oh heck.
But this time, the black shape is slightly more, slightly clearer. It's still. It seems that it's still like vague and distorted by itself, but as far as you can tell, the girl doesn't seem to react to that. So it's possible that it's something else that's causing that. But this time you can hear her voice as she's talking to it. And this kind of mirrors when you left off in the middle of the middle of the town. And she's basically saying, let me get my notes out. Let's see, what's this? Let me play some different music first.
It's not very appropriate.
It's not that. It's because as the rift opens this time, you can hear different things as well. You don't just see things. You smell some of the grass that's under the tree, and you can hear. Is this playing it? Cannot play a song that's long enough. Yeah, fuck. Well, I guess I need to find a different one. Hang on. That was not a limitation I was aware of.
So we're getting all senses at this point.
Yes. Fuck. These are all
Barring
long.
possibly tactile.
These
And
are all long.
hunger,
They're made
maybe.
for fucking ASMR. This one. Let's go. So you hear rain and you hear thunder. If you look behind you, you still see like the cave wall, so you don't see beyond that, but you can hear it going on somewhere. And if you're inside the cave, you even feel some like phantom touches of raindrops. But when you brush there, there's nothing that's actually there.
Spooky.
And in addition to the thunder and the rain sounds, you can hear roaring in the distance and some crashing. And all the sounds you're hearing are kind of muffled, as if someone has like a cloth to your ears. So it's not at 100% fidelity, but you can hear the girl speaking, very muffled at times, but kind of fading in and out. And you hear her say this when it's clear. I should actually probably do this in hers. And the black shadow doesn't respond, but it seems like it's struggling to get up.
Now, is the black shadow? Is she speaking to the black shadow, or is she speaking to the Pichu?
Nope, she's
Black
speaking to the
shadow.
black shadow. She doesn't seem to take notice of the Pichu. And the Pichu has not like stepped back in through the membrane, so it's still on your side. And her voice fades out again, so it's difficult to hear. But the shadow gets up, and it looks like it floats over to near the cave entrance, and the Pichu steps out of the way. Is anyone standing like inside the cave? Like deeper into the cave?
Doesn't look like it.
Chance
No.
basically be in an area where he can get a good line of sight for shots and stuff. He's not necessarily overly focused on the events as they're playing out. He's more focused on like the getting a good framing.
Sure.
Esme would probably be in there.
Okay. And you're like behind it, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. What would you say? 1 second. I need to have my reference material here. From where you see, it's like it looks like a shape with a lot of appendages, or at least things that look like appendages. And there's a single like long white appendage at the top. But it's basically floating towards the entrance, and when it passes the threshold of the cave, it vanishes, as if it went out of view. And the girl stands up, and after like a brief moment of hesitation, follows it and vanishes as well. And all you're left with is the sight and sounds of the, I guess, like grassy clearing under, or grassy area under the tree.
I wonder if that was a Darkrai. It's the only Pokemon I could think of.
I personally am getting the headcanon that is the Pichu.
The shape was a lot larger than the Pichu.
Oh, okay.
Like yeah, probably taller than the girl.
No, somebody gave Darkrai legs in this picture. I don't like it. They're sexy legs too. I hate it.
Okay, so what is the Pichu's reaction to all of this?
So the Pichu is, let's see.
Am I getting the impression that the Pichu is now that it's somewhat in our reality, that it's acting as like a mobile lens?
Based on how the distortion acted when she approached it, you get the sense that might be the case. But with Pichu doesn't really react to the I guess the events unfolding in the vision, as so much as she's kind of just like she's looking at you guys and kind of gesturing to the or not gesturing. She's looking kind of expectantly at you guys.
What the Pichu is?
Yeah, the Pichu is.
What was her? I mean, I know you said she didn't really react to it, but like, what has she been doing the entire time that she's been in the cave since she stopped?
Sure. So she went to the end of the cave. The distortion like got clearer. It was opened by the unknown, and she kind of just took a couple steps off to the side, with her arms crossed, and just was looking at you guys instead of the girl in the shape.
Okay, so she wasn't involved in the process in any way.
Right.
Okay.
So she wants something from us, and we just gotta try and figure out what.
Can you ask the unknowns to possibly enhance the? I don't want to say enhance the image further, like some sort of CSI bullshit or whatever, but like,
Enhance.
like attempt to sharpen the lens. I don't know, like what is I don't know how to interact with Pichu.
I was on mute because I was eating Doritos and didn't want to crunch into the recording.
And didn't realize until now.
Yeah. Yeah, can we try? I'm good to try that. Can we ask them to try that?
Sure, you can try that.
Might we want
already...
to use focus to try and focus?
Sure. I won't ask for a check right now. The fidelity of the image is already pretty high. even if the sound is still muffled. So it doesn't seem like there's much more focusing to be done.
Can I try Pokey yet again?
Okay.
What are you trying to do? Like intuit what it wants?
Pretty much. Man, my rolls suck today.
This Pikachu is an enigma, but she kind of walks out of the cave on her own, and let's see. I'll say that she Okay, so since the image is pretty clear right now, she's going to, it seems, briefly push through the membrane again. And in the grass, there are some fallen leaves. And she's going to pick one up and kind of mimic blowing on it. Come through the membrane again. With the leaf in hand. And then point it at the towers.
Okay.
And if I walk up to the space where the Pichu like stepped through,
yeah,
does anything happen if I like try and do the same thing?
No, you look a little bit silly because you're raising your leg and trying to step into a hole or something. But
Okay.
Nothing happens. You pass straight through.
The only thing that comes to mind is that the Pichu is giving us some sort of indication that we can interact with the world, and the only other place that we know that we can interact with the world in the that we've seen so far is in the architect's home, and the only thing that we know that's different in there is those records that are missing. So I'm wondering if we can walk the Pichu over there and have the Pichu recover the records for us and bring them, like, because do the Pichu have the ability to bring that leaf that she blew on back into our world?
Shit, that was a pothole.
I mean, the Pichu did
the leaf didn't come. The leaf didn't come back.
This creates too many problems.
that was a mistake.
Okay.
The leaf was left behind at the border.
Okay, so
Illegal imports.
Okay. So right now we're not bringing things from.
No,
okay.
No.
Apart from the Pichu.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it wants us to do a leaf music at the tower, and we know that leaf music calms wild Pokemon around a girl.
To be honest with you, Lucas is going to take this like at face value and just assume that the Pichu wants to go to the cathedral thing and just wander over to them.
I have a theory
Sort
about
of
what could
walk
calm
off.
them. I saw a girl playing a melody on a leaf in the garden. It seemed to calm the wild Pokemon around her. If I could replicate that on a larger scale... It's the tower. The tower is the leaf on the larger scale.
The tower is the leaf on the larger scale. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but the problem is we don't have the melody, and we can't really manually play the melody, so we need the melody, and the only thing that we know of that could produce said melody is the music that's missing. I mean, presumably that he would have researched the melody she was playing and produced it, and then it was in his house, but it's now missing, and we don't know where it is.
Does the Pichu know the melody?
Well, even if the Pichu knew the melody, it wouldn't be able to replicate it in the temple.
Do you ask the Pichu if it knows the melody?
Yes.
Okay. It tries to sing in a Pichu voice. How much music? So your grandparents like played music in the house, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you probably have some exposure to music.
I have heard a tune before.
Sure. You get the feeling that this Pichu is tone deaf.
Oh, that is very unfortunate.
I mean, between us, we have two musically inclined Pokemon that could probably interact with it. Chances Sortudo, I might be mispronouncing that, and I have Geppetto. We could try to bring them out.
Right, but that's the thing, though, is the cathedral although y'all did attempt to manually play the cathedral's orchestra equipment stuff, it wasn't very good.
What?
Throwing shade already.
Excuse me,
At least we tried.
bitch.
Can I ask a question about something that happened in the previous session?
Sure.
We found a box of records in the red house, the only other one that isn't completely knackered.
Mhm.
Was that box of records ostensibly the same box that is missing from the yellow house?
It does not seem like it. So that box had
Okay.
many more, and they seem to be instead of the unlabeled couple and that one labeled one in the box, you see mostly a bunch of, I guess, for lack of a better term, like pop music. Not like the pop genre, but like just like
Top 20.
like more mainstream music kind of thing
My
Sure.
guess
from
was
years back.
that was intended as a way of showing us what the cathedral plays and everything like that. Like that was a way of teaching us how it works more than like advancing the plot.
Essentially.
I mean, we could bring the Pichu to where the records were found, or just to these houses. It can step through the membrane and everything. Maybe it's different on the other side. It could maybe show us where it was, at least. Give us an idea.
Well, we know where it was. It was in the house. It isn't anymore.
Right, but if it showed us through the membrane, like the past or whatever, then we might have an idea of where it went.
I don't think this is relevant to what we're currently trying to work out, but what is Arasion?
That's the name. That's the label on the one labeled container for the record.
Oh, okay, okay.
So presume just by guessing, you would assume that's the name of the song.
Google it.
It means prayer.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the big hang up that we have right now. I mean, we're trying to figure out how to play the music on the cathedral. I mean, we can attempt to like get Sortudo and Geppetto and attempt to like manually recreate the music by physically interacting with the parts, but that didn't seem to go well when y'all attempted it before. I mean, it really seems like we need to find those records, but I have no way to find them. You know, like unless we can figure out a way to track them down and figure out if they're still in the ruins somewhere, and we can bring the Pichu there so that we can find them in our world, like our reality, if they're still in here somewhere. But we don't really know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't suppose our favourite photographer here has any idea?
Okay.
Having
So
photographerized.
Sure. So what do you ask her?
If she's seen anything labeled Arasion.
So she'll say that these ruins were open to the public only recently. So she, as part of the public, wasn't allowed in here. Much longer than you were.
Hmm.
But that said, she does know, based on she's explored other ruins before, that there are, I guess, what's the word? Private patrons of the excavation initiatives who may have had earlier access to it.
Have pilfered the thing.
She says it's uncommon because mostly they're just enthusiasts, and they don't want to destroy the ruins or anything like that. But it has happened before.
Well, I guess we better go ask all the old men if they've nicked a record called Arasion then.
Yeah, it's unusual because why would they particularly choose this one that seems to be relevant to uncovering whatever spiritual plot is taking place here versus like something more mundane like the ones that we found in that other house that are not relevant. I mean, it'd be weird if it was just something as simple as just it had been misplaced by somebody who'd already snagged it. Plus, we found it in the locked house. The house was still locked.
Hmm.
You know, wasn't like somebody had already entered, and unless they relocked the door after they left, in which case it seems a lot more deliberate than if it was just like picked up as a curiosity and they didn't intend to deliberately steal it. You know, because then why would they relock the door behind them?
Shame.
To preserve the authenticity of the experience for people who came later.
Yeah, that one.
Like I said, enthusiasts.
Mhm.
All right. Out of character, I think it's probably reasonable to do this at this point. Just so that you don't agonize over this. So this is intended to be the start of a plot line, not something that would be immediately resolved. So you have, I think, a bunch of clues. The answer is not here.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So that's basically it.
I kind of came to that conclusion a while ago. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm glad we didn't give up when we were about to, like, I was like, let's go see Lyndon before we leave, and then we
Yeah.
found out a whole lot more than we were gonna discover if we just left right away.
Yep. Well, I didn't realize that
placement
this
may have been.
like shadowed area was a cave entrance.
Yeah, I suspected that. I'll just say that Lyndon's placement near the end there was deliberate.
Deliberate.
Oh my god, please. You had to stretch that one a bit.
No, I didn't.
Alright, so...
Low-hanging fruit. Anyway.
Now that you know that, what would you like to do here? Anything left outstanding that you want to ask about here?
I feel like I've gotten enough video and stuff like that I can pretty much go through anything that I would want to without having to.
Sure, we can. Yeah. So what we can do is we can say that if you have any questions later, we can just say that you had asked that at the time, and we can just answer it then instead of trying to get through it
The
all.
reason I'm bringing all that up is that I'm saying that the group has a physical reference to anything that we need. Like, I've pretty much videotaped everything,
Sure.
so we can go back and review it. So the actual physical objects, I'm asking Rita and Lyndon, are they going to be here for a while? Are either one of them going to stay here?
Like the physical, like the. Are you asking about the objects, or are you asking about those two, like people?
These two people, are either of them going to stay here and investigate the ruins further?
So Lyndon is not. Rita is probably going to stick around for a while longer. But she will. She travels around a lot. She travels around pretty frequently as well. So you might see her in other areas, and she might like revisit every once in a while.
And Lyndon, you're going to go on to go do more exorcism elsewhere?
Yep, that's the plan.
Do you get paid for your services or anything like that? Like, how are you going about living your life, I guess?
He doesn't really get paid for it, but he does work for a shrine, and they get donations. So he has to live frugally, but those herbs notwithstanding, maybe he has like a garden of them or something. But he gets by.
Okay.
And, every once in a while when he exercises a ghost for someone, they might see fit to give him a donation for that service.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, I think we're pretty much done here. Chance is going to make a point of finding someone more reputable. Not one of, like, the rune maniacs or the hex maniacs or something like that, but, like, find somebody more reputable on the way out and give the things that he's collected through and, like, catalog where in the room.
Sure. Okay, so there was a group standing outside. They looked pretty official, so you can hand that over to them.
Okay. And then I guess we'll depart.
Yeah, we leave the ruins.
Okay. But from the way you said that, I was wondering if you were intending that to be a pun, but I didn't hear anything.
Nope.
So. All right. Anything, Amber?
All right. I guess we're going back to Jubilife then, so that we can get back for the gym challenge.
Although I'm not sure if we'll have time for that today, but it is prepared. Anyway, we can probably get the initial part of the RP out of the way for that. So yeah, if you step outside, it's I think it's probably pretty late by now. Yeah, so it's probably like the trip from Jubilife to here probably took the better part of the day. So it was already like kind of late afternoon when you got here. So now it's probably like getting dark out. You might be able to make it a little distance before it gets completely dark. But basically, I would recommend that you either camp out here or camp out, farther down the path.
Yeah, camping out here seems to make sense.
We couldn't make it to like the Talmarin, like the rest area thing, right?
It'd probably be a stretch. You'd probably be walking in the dark for a while.
Okay, yeah. So then we'll go ahead and camp out here.
Okay.
Yep.
And you see that there are some tents already set up here because people are staying here for a period. So you just set up beside them. Nothing particularly happens. They have it pretty well set up. Okay. So with that, you can.
Are wild Pokemon avoiding the area entirely, like as a result of that creature that they were all scared of?
It doesn't seem to be that. It's just that there aren't any wild Pokemon in the cavern. Naturally, and the people outside are kind of dissuading any from trying to get in there for any other reason. Yeah. Not that it seems like there's any Pokemon that are particularly interested in going in there from what you can see. So you camp out for a night, and then it passes uneventfully. You don't get eaten by alternate universes.
Yeah.
And then it is morning.
Okay.
Head back?
Sure.
Yeah, I guess we wander along.
Yeah, so you wander along the path. For the most part, it's as uneventful as the way you came. When you get to the rest stop, you notice that the Tamarin is no longer on the rock, if you care to look. So maybe it's gone off to search for a different hobby.
You got bored of looking after noobs.
And the rest of the trip is about as uneventful. So it is now the. Let's see. I don't remember what the days are specifically, but let's just say it's like evening of Friday, or like late afternoon of Friday.
How looming over the city is the giant moon with the face?
It's literally inches from your nose.
It's the evening of the third day? I don't know how many days there are in that game. I never played it.
3, yeah. Let me take this out. And yeah, so that's about the size of it. It's getting late. The street lights are on. And it's on Friday, so the gym isn't open, but it'll be open the next day.
Is there anything obviously going on in town currently on a Friday night? Like as far as nightlife or anything?
Drunks in the street.
I would say that there's a fair bit of foot traffic. There isn't anything that looks like an event going on, but you see, lots of people taking walks, especially to, I guess, that plaza area in the southwest that you saw before. But they're just people hanging around. It's not, there's no particular event going on.
Well, take this opportunity, since we're not in a time crunch or anything, to go explore the city, see what else is in the city.
Sure.
I'm gonna go to the Pokemon Center and heal off all my Pokemon.
That's reasonable.
From their absolutely fucking knackered state.
Sure. When you get back, the Minccino looks disapprovingly at all of you because you're quite dusty from your visit to the ruins. And it's going to dust you all off.
What? We can't help it.
Yeah, but you don't. That's what it's here for, so you don't track dust into the city. But yeah, you can heal up. in the Pokemon Center, and then you can. We only have a little bit more time today, so we can go exploring a little bit before we end, I think.
Okie dokie.
Starts off going this way to see if there's anything of note, like this building. I know that in character this building is, or out of character this building is just doesn't even have a door. But
Yeah, sure. From that angle, make me a perception check.
Oh shit, it's relevant. Hashtag surprise relevance.
Full of Natu. You have flashbacks.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but it feels like
headache.
In the distance, a motorcycle.
Oh, I scrolled up. Okay. Yeah, I guess so. Out of the corner of your eye, you see something near the bushes. It's moving slightly, so that's why you can see it. It looks like it's just breathing.
an Abra.
Like it's just snoring silently.
Holy shit! Is someone actually after one of those? Because Abra's cool.
Chance makes note of it, unless anybody else is following him. He doesn't really pay it any mind.
Fair.
All right.
He'll mention later on, like if anybody happens to be following him, or if he catches up with everybody else later on. Like I know that some people went to the Pokemon Center. He'll mention that he saw one, and where he saw it. And then he'll stop by, I guess, Jubilife TV and take a look at that. Are they currently open? I know it's Friday evening, but I figure with the news station it might be still open. And does it look even inviting to the public?
So it does seem like it's. Oh, hey, Amber. So basically, they just took the opportunity to. We got back to town. Nothing much happened on the way. The Talmarin was just absent from the. Talmarin was absent from the rock, but that's about the only change there. It's currently like late afternoon or the start of evening, and you're back into the city. The only things that happened here are you got dusted off by the Minccino coming in because you were all dusty from the ruins. You went to the Pokemon Center to get your Pokemon healed up. Chance went up north, saw an Abra sleeping in behind, next to some hedges, out of the corner of his eye.
I love Abra.
So he did say that if anyone was in character following him, they could see it as well. If you wanted to do that. Otherwise, he just left it alone for now.
Baby.
Okay. So it seems to be sleeping.
Oh, I don't want to wake it up, but also I want to give it pats and treats.
Well, knowing Abra's reputation, it'll just disappear if you interact with it.
Can I just put a treat right here and just kind of scoot it its way very quietly?
Make me a stealth check.
No. No.
Yeah,
My
do it.
one weakness.
When you start pushing the treat towards it, the metaphorical sleep bubble bursts, and it vanishes in a blink.
No,
Yep.
I love you. Oh.
Oh.
Let me love you.
I think you're familiar enough with Abra. I won't ask you to make a Poké check here. That to know that they can sense danger even when they're asleep, and their first line of defense is to teleport away.
But I'm not danger. I'm just weird.
That's a different kind of danger.
A good weird, not bad weird.
Stranger danger. Stranger danger.
Well, I'm gonna leave the treat there just in case it comes back or the Minccino wants it. Sad face.
It's gonna get swept up.
Yeah, the Minccino looks disapprovingly at you as it cleans up your litter.
No, it's a treat. No.
This isn't what I meant.
I'm sorry.
But why though?
Oh, I'm just gonna roll over in sadness.
The Minchino did not like that. It will remember this.
I live here now, on the streets where I belong.
Wow.
The pristine streets, as a result of the Minchino's efforts.
I'm sorry, little friends.
To answer Chance's question, the TV station does seem to be open. They don't have like a welcoming committee or anything. There is a receptionist that you can see from the front door.
Honestly, Chance is kind of mildly, not like, it doesn't make it like an active crusade or anything, but he's like mildly derisive of old media.
Sure.
Like completely viewing it as like an outdated mode of informing people of things. But he's curious enough to walk inside and like take a look around.
Okay. When you do that, the receptionist will look up at you because the door kind of rang when it opened, and say, "Oh, sorry, the studios aren't open for visitors right now."
Oh, that's fine. I was just kind of taking a look around at the building. Interesting to view relics of the past.
Oof.
She stays professional and doesn't comment on your
Trolling.
your shade. But she nods and says, "Feel free to look around in the lobby. We just ask that you don't go any further into the building."
Okay. Yeah, Chance just looks around and once he's finished, move on.
No industrial espionage allowed.
I wonder if they ever did a piece on the ruins. That might be interesting.
Possibly. Although it is fairly recently open to the public, so maybe they haven't had a. Would there have been reporters there? I'll say probably not for the moment, for one reason or another.
I live here now.
Okay.
You live in that tree.
Yeah.
Right, Esme, make me a perception check. Actually, I think you don't even need a perception check, honestly. Because you're up in the
Even
tree.
you're not that stupid.
Well, it's just that they're not trying to hide. They're just behind the tree. So if anyone's passing by, I would ask that. But if you're in the tree, then there is a rather. You're on top of one. There is a somewhat scruffy-looking cat Pokemon and a Minchino that has kind of cornered it, and brandishing its tail menacingly.
Dibs. Litton's my favorite. I will fight you.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. Fuck.
No.
I'm sorry, Litton's my favorite. I didn't mean to grow aggro.
Dibs, I'll fucking fight you.
That was a funny reaction.
I love Litton. Anyways, continue. Sorry, Rev.
I actually had no idea because you don't have a wish list, but that's fine. So the Litten is kind of like, has its hackles raised. It's doing that whole arched back, first standing on end kind of thing. As it backs away from this very threatening Minchino, who is threatening to clean it, I think, based on what you're seeing. Like I said, it's brandishing its tail, and it's taking a couple steps, like small steps toward the Litten, and the Litten's just backing up against the fence.
Okay, can I drop out of the tree like an idiot, or should I scuttle down? I can't flop. There we go.
You can do that.
Cool. I'm going to hop down kind of between them. Just raise my hands up for peace. Be like, look, buddy. You can't go forcing your worldviews on people. Some people just don't want to be clean. All right.
The Minchino hisses at you.
I hiss back.
Okay. Let's see. Was that just a hissing noise, or is that like some sort of Pokemon language that you're attempting to use there?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Strangely enough, the Minchino understands what you're trying to get, and it stuffs its tail into your mouth to clean up that dirty mouth of yours. It hops up onto your shoulder to do that.
I'm gonna slobber in my tail.
You say you're gonna slap it?
No, I said I was gonna slobber on its tail. I'm not gonna slap it.
It seems to be kind of water repellent.
Oh, can I take my scarf and gently wrap it up like a little burrito to calm it down?
Make me an
Grapple.
athletics check. Yeah, make me a grapple. Roll 1d20.
Oh, I forgot how to do it.
Sure. Slash roll space 1d20.
1d20. Oh, my rolls suck today.
For the sake of it being funny, I'll say that that's good enough to hit. Even though it technically has evasion. Although I haven't statted it, so it doesn't actually. Make me an athletics check now. I think you probably win this. Yeah, okay. It can't beat that. Alright, so you make use of the leverage you have on its tail right now to keep it still while you wrap it up in a scarf. And it's still kind of hissing at you, but it calms down after a little while, just like looking a little bit defeated as it's wrapped up in a bundle in your scarf.
You're a baby now.
The Litten is still looking kind of cautious, and it's like very slowly edging away. But there's not really much place to go.
Okay. I'm gonna set the Minchino down gently once it's calm.
Okay.
Oh damn it! I was thinking you were gonna like curl it like a shot put in the claw.
Quick, friend Chance, catch this baby.
Oh no! Don't throw an angry cat like that.
Yeah.
I can see the rodents, not cats, but I just had it hiss because, hissing back at me.
Creatures besides cats hiss like possums.
A
Okay,
possum is almost a cat.
I guess that's fair. I don't think chinchillas. I don't know anything about chinchillas, so maybe. Anyway, sure.
They make squeaking noises. I think
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And chitter a bit.
angry squeaks.
Angry. Okay, so let's say it chittered angrily at you. That seems more in character.
Sure.
All right. So you put it down. It's wrapped up pretty securely.
Give a little pat on its head.
It almost bites you, but the scarf gets in the way.
Bitch.
Actually, no. It's too well trained for that. Never mind. I won't say it tries to bite you. It just tries to. It wriggles as if trying to free its tail to like slap your hand or clean your hand, but it fails to do so.
All of the power is in the tail.
Actually, can I run this Minchino over to... Well, no, I don't want to lose the Litten. I was going to say I want to run it over to Lucas to be like, here, hold this, and then run back.
It doesn't seem like it'll be able to get free of the scarf anytime soon.
Okay, so I'm going to slowly approach the Litten and offer treats, because that's my thing.
The Litten is going to slowly back away into the corner, keeping 2 meters from you at all times.
I'm very COVID conscious of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to... I think it's the
That's actually
same.
It's a little over 6 feet.
I'm going to lie down. I'm going to
Gently
expose my belly. Gonna expose my belly to show a sign of trust, and I'm gonna do slow eye kisses at it.
Okay. It looks from your position. It looks like
you
it's
just
looking.
sat on the floor with lifting your shirt up and waggling your eyebrows at it.
Make me a Pokehead check.
Oh no, but my rolls, they've been so bad. Shut up, David.
Its body language it's mostly universal. It thinks you're a weirdo.
I mean, it's not wrong.
Oh no.
Love you.
But it doesn't run off into the alley or anything. It just stays here in the corner.
I'll click the wrong thing. I'll kind of sit up very slowly and just scoot a treat towards it. Not too close, but just kind of a throw.
Okay. Like where do you throw it? Like closer to yourself or closer to it?
Like right here-ish.
Okay. It
Being
looks...
it between the eyes.
Shut up.
You have excellent aim on this fine day.
If you only roll well, is that you like critically hit it with the treat.
Yeah. It died instantly.
It briefly glances down at the treat, but then it looks back up at you, unwilling to take its eyes off you. It makes no move to approach the treat.
I'll scoot back a little bit.
Because it is conscious of social distancing, it will wait for a little bit and then scoot forward and hesitantly pick up the treat. And then nibble away at it.
I tell it it's a good boy or girl, because it is.
Sure. I'll leave that up to you. But it seems like it's settled down a little bit. Yeah, its tail is no longer like... What is the cat tail of body language for alarm? Like, I guess...
Straight up.
Held... Okay.
No.
No.
So that's
Straight up is
surprising.
saying hello.
Yeah, I think it's like between...
It's if it's lashing side to side and fluffed up, then it's like angry and or worried.
Sure.
Yeah.
Then it's I guess it's more, instead of like lashing around, it's more like kind of just alternating like directions every once in a while. More relaxed.
Okay. Gonna throw a treat a little closer, like right here.
I'm gonna have this making a guile check.
Oh, damn it. Why do you do this to me?
This is a very discerning Litten. It's not bad.
This cat isn't dumb.
It's better than the average person would expect.
No, he's a good boy.
Okay, well,
Oh, well.
the
The cat isn't dumb. Rolls a 2.
Its hunger wins out over its wariness and takes another step closer. And eats that treat as well.
Do we get, like, Pokepuffs in this? I don't know if that's, like, a specific game thing.
It's not, but I'll say you just have them. Like, it's not a big deal.
Okay, I'm gonna outstretch my hands with the Pokepuff.
Okay, so it sees the treat before it sees your hand, and it goes up and it starts nibbling away the treat before it freezes because its chin is resting on your hand.
Oh.
Got it.
And it slowly raises its eyes from the treat to your face and seems to be too nervous to move.
Chin scratches.
It feels pretty stiff under your fingers at first, but I want to say roll for technique. But no. After a few scritches, it seems to relax a little bit and lets you scratch it under the chin, and it becomes less stiff in the body, and but you can feel that its fur is a little bit dirty, which is probably why the Minchino was aggressively approaching it for cleaning. This one seems to be a stray, probably newer to the city.
Let me love you. I guess I'll be like, okay, you don't have to be cleaned now, but if you come with me, you get more treats and Pokepuffs, but that means an eventual clean, but also lots of hugs and scritches.
It looks at you and your bag, I guess, of Pokepuffs, and it's like making mental calculations for the pros and cons of this arrangement. It takes a brief look at, like, it raises one paw and briefly looks at it, as if gauging the amount of uncleanliness that is settled in, and after a few moments consideration, it finally like nods briefly at you.
Yay!
Yeah. That was the most hard fought narrative catch I've seen so far. This Litten was not interested.
Okay, do you want to follow me outside of a Pokeball, or do you want to rest in a Pokeball for right now?
It seems to not want to be in a Pokeball for now.
Okay, let's go a little oh, wait, no. Hang on. Okay, I know this guy was giving you lip, but I gotta let him go out of the burrito, okay?
At that, the Litten is going to nonchalantly hide behind you.
Don't say that. I thought he was
No.
gonna set my scarf on fire for a second. I was like, no.
And the Minchino just looks like it's accepted its fate. It's just staying. It's just like it's still wrapped
This
in
is
the
my
scarf,
life now.
motionless, and it has dead fish eyes.
Oh.
Alright, I'm gonna approach him. I'm gonna scuttle on up here. I'm going to
When you do that,
untie it. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
after you untie it, it lies there like a dead fish.
Can I give it a Pokepuff as an apology?
It's going to blink once, regain the luster in its eyes, take the Pokepuff from you a little bit angrily, as it's saying, "How dare you offer me food while I'm on the job, and how dare you come between me and my job? I've never." And it
I won't complain to your manager if you don't complain to mine, okay? I'm pretty sure that's Lucas, but let's just
it chitters exasperately at you. It takes the puff as a peace offering, and then it walks off in search of more things to clean.
Okay, bye, I love you. Yay.
It waves its tail at you dismissively, and you are
Why
dead.
have you got a big cross on you now?
I don't know, apparently I killed myself out of joy. There we go, I clicked the wrong thing.
Alright, and the Litten seems to almost breathe a sigh of relief as it sees the Minchino leave.
You guys.
Yeah.
Let me just
You guys.
What?
do this one.
Kitty.
Does the cat actually follow her, or does it just stand there like, nope?
No, it'll follow her. I'm just doing the I have to actually give permissions.
Smelly cat.
Not that smelly, just like
He's
slightly.
musky.
This cat is a genius.
Why
It's
is
a
that?
genius.
Let's see. Visible to everyone.
True facts, Litten is the only Poke plush I've ever had my entire life.
If only its evolution wasn't so lame.
I like Incineroar. Although he makes me feel weird feelings because it's like, oh, I guess I have a Poke boyfriend now and he's a wrestler.
Alright, so I think you should have control over Lynn's token now,
Yeah.
if I'm correct. Yeah, okay, you can move.
Litten the kitten.
Mm-hmm.
Guys. Solo look. Cat friend.
Lucas sort of looks behind you, looks back to you, and goes, "Another one?" It's just like, just turns to look at everyone else. All right, yeah, whatever, fine.
Hey, look, alright, the Growlithe I caught, Bernie Spanders, has been very helpful. You haven't complained about him, so don't complain about Liddy.
Liddy seems a little bit unnerved by the eyes surrounding it.
No, it's okay. They're friends. They're spooky friends, but they're friends.
I suppose the closest related in terms of like species is Solar in the party, so I guess Solar can greet it.
The unknown are looking.
Oh, this poor
They're
Litten.
always watching.
Mm. Ceiling
judging
unknown
all
watching
things.
you befriend Pokemon.
Roll for dominance.
No.
You need to establish the pecking order here. Probably Solo on top though.
Solar's considerably bigger.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. And also more senior. Alright.
Yeah. I think Liddy would just puff up and make that little spitty noise like hot oil hitting a skillet.
I actually watched a YouTube video today of a kitten trying to introduce itself to a larger cat, and it definitely did the pop-up thing. That's pretty cute.
Well, that was an entertaining way to probably close things up, I guess.
Yeah, I think so, just based on timing. Yeah.
Kitty.
This is
Can we
probably
finish
what we're.
through the street?
What's that?
Can we finish through the street? Because Chance is like the
Sure,
second
sure.
space level. I assume this is like a bike
No.
shop.
No. So if you step back one step, like down,
Oh.
there's a sign that I put into place.
Oh, okay.
From there, you see a familiar sight.
Ah!
Oh.
It is now sleeping beside that hedge. You know, you're not like an Abra expert or anything, but this one looks kind of like the one you saw before. You don't know how it got here because Esme interacted with it after you left, but maybe, as far as you know, maybe they're siblings or something.
This is where Abra is actually on your wish list, Mag, and it's not meant to be or something.
No,
Dude, Abra's awesome.
Yeah, I don't have Abra on my wish list.
it's not.
totally.
It's just a planned city encounter. It's just here.
Does the Poketech company seem like they have anything interesting in their lobby area?
No, this one seems that it seems that they've already gone home for the day. They have very sane hours.
Gotcha. Okay. And then just finished exploring the rest of the block.
You
Up
see
to the
an-
gatehouse and everything.
Yep. So you see another checkpoint. You see a sign there. Let's see. How do I imagine it? I wonder how tall the gatehouse is. How tall that one is.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Litton's
probably
Japanese
not.
name is Niabi. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's very cute.
Litton's what? Sorry?
Japanese name.
Its Japanese name is Niabi. Oh my god.
It's very cute. I don't think there's anything exciting going on in that area to the west right now.
Okay. And nothing over here in the alleyways or anything.
Correct. You don't see a second Abra or anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have a lot of urban Pokemon on my wish list, so just checking.
Yep. They might be in the plaza, nudge nudge,
Yep.
but that can wait until next session, I think.
Okay.
All right. Spent a little bit longer in the ruins than I had expected. I actually had the gym battle ready, but that's how it planned out. So you'll, unless the RP takes up the entire time next time as well, you'll have that to look forward to next time.
Yay.
Well, I imagine we'll look around the rest of the town and
Yeah,
then
I think
go
so.
to bed, quote unquote.
Yeah, I think that would probably happen first, but there is something slated for next session, basically.
Ooh.
Yep.
Anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed. There is a mystery now in the back of your heads about the ruins
There is.
that you might see some things about later on.
Sweet.
Nice.
Isn't Litton literally immediately a Torracat?
I would say, okay, so by levels, yes. By whether or not you want that to happen, I'll say not necessarily. Would you plan to evolve it to Incineroar?
I don't know yet.
Okay, so we'll leave that question for later. And how you want to handle the evolution, I guess, is up to you. By the levels, it could evolve directly to Torracat. Personally, I think Litten looks a lot cuter.
I agree.
So, like, if you wanted to eventually evolve it to Incineroar, but like kind of skip the middle thing, I wouldn't have an issue with that necessarily. And you could evolve it like stats wise and everything. Just keep it as a Litten.
Yeah, I just want it to be Litten for right now.
Sure, and that's fine.
It's nice. It's got Fire Fang and double kick already. That's a nice.
It
some
has
nice
some of that
coverage.
fighting type blood in it.
It and Chappie are gonna get along great. They're just gonna be doing high kicks at each other all day.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that the dream?
Just for your children to kick the shit out of each other all day, yes.
Yeah.
All right, but I believe that is everything.
Cool. Tom, are we still on for Phasmo?
Yeah.
Cool.
Phasmo. Oh,
Phasmophobia,
Phasmophobia.
yeah.
Right. Okay, then I won't keep you guys for any longer because I know Fish's on a tight schedule, and so is Meg. So then we'll see each other next week.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for game.
Yeah, thank you
No
very
Yeah,
much.
problem.
cool.
All right.
And
Catch you all later.
Bye,
I
guys.
will remember our actual game time next time.
Good.
No worries.
Don't forget to stop recording, Tom.
Oh yeah, I should do that now.